forever since I have been live. Oh gosh. Going live right now feels just a little bit nerve wracking, but I really think it's because I just haven't been live in a while and I'm just showing up to discuss it. Yeah. Well, I did take some notes so I wouldn't get lost along the way. I know I haven't been live in a while, so if you guys haven't been here in a while, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on some of the stuff that I had been dealing with since I've been resetting after I had got burnt out a couple of months ago. And I know I made a video about it a few weeks ago, but I felt like I kind of want to have more of a discussion to talk about some of the things that actually had taken place during that time. Yeah. So the way it kind of feels right now, after being gone for so long, it just feels mm, like very, like, how can I say? It's like a nervousness, but I'm also excited at the same time. But it's not like the type of nervous where I'm excited. Well, I'm not nervous because I'm excited. If that makes sense. I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah. But it's like I feel myself settling back in. It feels good to be back in with my community, my tribe, talking about everything that I had been going through, and hopefully like being able to relate in that sense of fashion, and then also touching in like some things I've been dealing with spiritually. I really feel like I've been in like a big spiritual battle, and in that is a lot of lessons. Some lessons that it's like I learned before, but because I kind of like would backtrack, it's like I now I'm getting hit with the same lesson again, and me being hit with the same lesson again, it's kind of like a reinforcement on the lesson that was there before. What's up, Robin? Thank you for dropping in. Hey, Nya. What is that? How do I say that? Is it Nya? Hey. Hey, Kaya. I'm kind of saying the last video name. I hope I'm saying y'all names right. Thank y'all for jumping in. But yeah, like that spiritual battle, like I feel like I've just been going through, and then it got to a point where I just started feeling like didn't have to do as much as I was doing. It seems like was my ancestors, my spirit team, those that support me. Hey, Lola, thank you for popping in. Um, they were kind of like, we'll take it over from here, you know. So yeah, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm from the states. I'm from Tennessee. So yeah, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was thinking about it for a good. I was thinking about this for a good minute. Whether I should go ahead and go live, but I was supposed to have been went live like weeks ago, but time constraints, everything I do on a day to day basis, getting ready for the following week because I have to do not just my I don't have to get myself ready, I have to get my child ready, then we get the house prepared and all this stuff like that. Um so it and then today, even when I was going back and forth about whether or not I should actually come on here and talk about how I've been resetting after I burnt out, even then I started noticing I'm like, I'm having this debate because I'm actually nervous about returning. And then when I realized that about myself, I was like, ooh. So I'm avoiding. I don't know if y'all remember that episode of SpongeBob when he kept avoiding writing his essay. And all he did was write the word the, but he did it like real fancy. Yeah, that was me coming up with every reason in the book to not go live, even though I knew in my heart that I did want to go live and talk about everything that I had been dealing with. So, um, since I started posting again, most of my responses have pretty much been pretty positive if I had gotten any responses at all. But nonetheless, I am still happy to be back here. Okay. I see some people y'all saying y'all got first place and whatnot. Cool. But yeah. Okay. But yeah. But posting again internally what I was feeling. I kind of felt like this though. I started feeling like a little bit more settled in the more I kept talking about it because I think I was being too harsh on myself because I wanted to be able to create this community space for those who resonate with this to be able to come here. You got a safe space. We can talk about, what's going on, how we relate, our experiences that ties into what we're dealing with. Um, but it still kind of felt like in my mind, I was like, dang, like you left them like once again just hanging out there. You didn't even really get a chance to follow up. Then you got swept up in everything else that's been going on in your day-to-day life. And I just felt like I had let y'all down. Honestly, I did. And it almost made me feel like maybe I shouldn't even return because it's been so inconsistent with a lot of other things that's been going on that you guys deserve better. And I had to reframe that for myself as well because I have to be honest with myself. It's not like I didn't have nothing going on and I just stopped just for the sake of stopping. I literally stopped because I was drowning. Truly. Uh okay. Well, I mean, I speak to anybody that pops in. So thank you for popping in, Urban, even if it's just for a brief moment. So yeah. So yeah, yeah, I was just feeling like that and feeling like y'all deserved like something that was better, and by better I meant like more consistent with the type of content that is brought to this platform. So that's where I was at, but I had to, like I said, reframe that and think about it like you're being honest. And I wanted to come out and be honest with you guys with not just what's going on with me spiritually and sharing my journey and experiences with that, but also just coming out and speaking to you guys about what's actually going on in a more mundane sense. So yeah, so that's where I've been at. And since then, what my days were looking like during that time, I was pretty much like swamped, especially like September and October. It was hell for me doing work. When I say there was not a day where I was not ripping and running all day trying to get stuff done for clients, trying to get, not, and then once I'm done being in the field, then I still have to sit down and do the paperwork portions of it, getting packets and stuff together, trying to communicate with the team, trying to make sure we got everything prepared for these kids and stuff like that, y'all. It was so much. Then with making certain unnecessary long trips for other things to take place at, request of some higher ups. It was just very much so overwhelming. So so yeah, and then things started to taper off a bit like when I got to like mid-November, and I was like, okay, well let me start, looking back at things that I kind of fell off from because I had to keep up with my own health. I was starting to slip on my own personal health. So I was like, okay, let's get back to it. Exercising, eating better, being active, trying to stay active and consistent, figuring out, okay, how am I going to come back to you guys? Because I felt like I owed you guys like a major apology for just vanishing like that. Like I said, I guess I was being too harsh on myself. And then after that, after I started being more consistent with my personal care and make sure I had my boundaries put in place, boundaries was the biggest thing. Setting healthy boundaries. Because what I've been dealing with is just people thinking that they should just override your boundaries and like they just have a freedom right to do that. And it's like, no, there's a time and a place for you to back all the way up. And, it just seemed like, of course, I got some passive aggressive hell about that too. But at the same time, I don't owe you my life. I agreed to work a certain time period and stuff like that. I'm respectful and cordial. I do what I'm supposed to do. I hang it up, chief. But thinking that you about to violate, talk to me crazy or whatever, especially when I'm not even on the clock or not even supposed to be on the clock, you are severely mistaken. No. Um, and I had to set it like, no, I had to do it because it was it was infringing on my health in like some of the worst ways. It was to the point where my doctor had to basically tell me to take off work. And she was so serious after she looked in my eyes and she couldn't we started to do the scan on my brain because I don't know if they thought that I was about to deal with a aneurysm or some stuff like that because stress is a silent killer. Like she's like, I can see it in your eyes. My eyes are jumpy, whatever it is. She was just like, yeah, you got to put it down. Like even during my appointment, I was working. I was answering emails and messages and stuff like that in between, medical professionals talking to me and stuff like that and doing my vitals and stuff. She was like, "No, I'm gonna need you to not, you know." So I had to take a step back, and then that step back ended up being a major step back, which is like a major reset. Now, that's not to say me coming here added to that. It didn't. I actually love being here. I love my tribe. I miss my tribe. I hate that I fell off the way that I did because I felt like we were getting to a good momentum within there. But, things happen. I felt like that reset was also necessary because us as a people, especially in this society, we get so wrapped up in our day to day mundane lives because they have us caught up in the consumerism cycle where we always you work, you try to get some money, you go buy these things you probably don't really need, then it's like you die, you still don't really have the money, you still have to start all over again. It's like the cycle just continues. And then it even starts from when we're kids. They breed us. They build us into these mindsets of where we're always working that 9 to 5, 8 to, what is it, 8 to 4 or whatever it is. Heck, even pushing that back now, they're trying to make it really 8 to 5 and probably 9 to 6. Just so that way we're gone giving majority of our time throughout the day, throughout majority of the week to them, and then you come back, you don't even have the time or energy to invest in yourself and your loved ones, things of that nature. Hence another reason why I wanted to launch my platform, to build a community around that. It kind of starts to break away from those things. So yeah, um, the moment I knew something what was the moment I really knew something was off? I guess you could say I realized it beforehand, but I kept telling myself that I could make it, I could get through it until I was forced to basically sit down, when it came to that. So, yeah, because I kept getting this headache, and it was like a constant headache, like that would not go away. And it wasn't a sinus headache because I used to deal with it growing up. So I knew what the difference was. So it wasn't that. So I just wanted to get checked just to make sure I was good, then I can just go back to doing whatever I had to do for work. And yeah, that's when that started to fall off. Yeah. Um, yeah, I did get overwhelmed with some things. I did. Now there are things that I did enjoy. Like I would notice also like I'm a gamer too. So I would love to play the game. Um, just try to relax. Typical things that I would like to do. I wouldn't even want to do it anymore because I was just that tired. It was to the point where I would go to work, come home, make sure my child was taken care of, their homework ate, and I would crash out on the couch. Like I would just crash. And then I wake up and be like, okay, I don't even remember falling asleep. And I would have done nothing that day that helped to like relax me other than going to sleep. After that, my mind was still racing like crazy. So, um, yeah, so during that time period, also having to sit my butt down, take a step back and realize that there was a difference between me just being busy with a lot of stuff I had to do and me being depleted. So, me being just busy. It's just like, okay, make sure I'm checking everything off the list that I said I had to get done or whatever need to be done. Cool. But what backtracked after that is me being depleted. And now I'm feeling like I'm drained. I'm dragging myself to have to go do something. I'm dreading have to go do something. Not to be mistaken with how I was feeling about the live. I was just nervous about going live because I was like, oh, hope y'all still there. But um yeah, like forcing, like really, really forcing myself to try to complete something, dragging myself to try to complete it. And even then, it's a battle. Like every little thing was a battle. I just didn't feel like dealing with it anymore. Truly. I didn't. And that's now me realizing that was the difference between me just being busy and then me feeling depleted in those areas. So me having to start taking a conscious note of what that feels like and make sure that I start setting up boundaries around that. So first of all, stop forcing myself to do stuff and forcing myself to like, oh, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Like, why black women always gotta keep going, bro? Like, I want to rest sometimes. We need that as humans, period. That's what we're supposed to do. So this mindset of always steadily have to be on go. Like that's a survival tactic. Like obviously you don't feel safe. Like that's what throws your lower chakra like off balance. Like you throwing my root chakra out of whack because I don't feel safe. I feel like I have to keep going because if I don't keep going, you're probably gonna look at me crazy, treat me tell me that I'm lazy and things of that nature, when neither of which is the case, nor do you have the evidence to support that ever being the case. But that's going to be the narrative that gets put out there. So, and then, and I do have this still working through a perfectionist mentality to a degree because when I perform, I want to perform well. I want to take my time and do whatever I'm doing, and I want to execute it well. That's another thing I have. Like, so if I feel like I didn't perform well or if I didn't show up the way I needed to, then I'm going to get a bad review, which is going to make me feel like the type of work that I'm serving is not quality. And that's going to, oh, the way that that bothers me. And that might be tied to some deeper traumas from earlier in life. Still working through that. I can kind of piece together where that might be stemming from, but nonetheless, still feeling that way. And so all of these things run through my mind. And next thing you know, I feel like, okay, I just got to do it. Come on, you can keep on going. You can keep on going, keep doing it. And what good does that do me? Nothing except for sitting up here looking shriveled up like that little thing in a wheelchair from SpongeBob when they were selling chocolates. Like, that's how you're going to be looking if you continue to let this stress overtake you and override you, or if you keep convincing yourself that you needing to take a break or take a breather is problematic in any type of way. So um so even though I was feeling that way with my professional life and even some things in my personal life, how that boiled down to me not coming back sooner, because I was feeling overwhelmed with every other area in my life. I didn't have anything in my cup to pour out to you guys from that place. I would have been pouring from an empty cup, and you guys would have saw that. You guys would have felt that. Like, how can I come here and create a safe, nurturing environment where we can all learn, thrive, and grow together as a tribe and find, that type of unity here? But I'm not doing it for myself. I can't even pour into my own cup. I can't even make sure my own cup is full. So how can I come here and help let you all know how to go about keeping your own cup full while balancing your mundane life with your spiritual life and everything else there in between, and talking about some real issues, philosophical things and points. I'm not even doing it for myself. So how can I come back sooner until I start getting myself together? So in short, it's just tree branch. Leading by example is basically where I was coming in at from there. So going through the pressure to push through, um, and then realizing like how stuff like that just did not work for me. It just doesn't. Apparently, I work best, but I need to set these boundaries. And I guess that Pisces in the sixth house, like Pisces energy, Neptune energy, they like to blur the lines. They like to um stuff popping up. They like to blur the lines a lot. So blurring the lines also makes it easier for boundaries to be violated. So six hours day to day life work, typically what I do in the day to day, people there want to violate those boundaries. They want to blur the lines. I can't have that because then it's going to start infringing upon my health. And then it takes us really taking a step back and taking a look at that. And did people like it when I set those boundaries? No, they ain't like that. And did I care that they didn't like it? Initially to a degree, but then I was like, but my health and my well being and everything that I need to do outside of here, which is coming to the things that I desire. I desire to build this community. I desire no. Um Kevin. So I desire to build this community. I desire to have the other relationships outside of what's going on with y'all. Like I do not eat, sleep, breathe my current employment. Like I love what I do. I love how I help people and things of that nature. But I am so much more than this. We are so much more than the places that we work at, and we deserve and should have schedulings and the environment to be able to pour in and invest in ourselves and our loved ones, without feeling like we just have to throw all of that away. So that has been like some of my biggest things. And also, honestly, at this point, if it's somebody that you really ain't got to be dealing with in your life that's infringing upon you like that, you can't even have peace, just toodaloo, bye. Gots to go. Y'all need to send them on the owl and out the door somewhere because, y'all can't be here. It's just too much going on. Life too short to be dealing with all this unnecessary drama and stress. So, what I needed that I wasn't giving myself before, grace. Give myself the grace of realizing, like, baby, you tired. And no, you don't have to keep pushing through. Do your best, give your best, do what you're supposed to do within that, and take your time wherever you need be. Hey, I haven't seen in a minute. Hey, YG. Oh, I'm feeling so much better now. I am. Girl, I had to keep going through this lesson of learning to not overwork myself and be burning out. That's why I keep doing the vanishing egg like I'm Houdini or something. Um but I'm feeling better now. I'm glad you asked. So what changed that made returning feel possible? First of all, pacing myself and actually basically logging what's important to me, what's not important to me, what's worth dealing with, what I don't have to deal with. Can I handle this now? Or can I do this later? And just basically giving stuff more priorities like that and saying no and upholding that no, creating boundaries with people, places, and things that wanted to bring me unnecessary and undue stress. Um, those are the things that made it possible because see now I feel like now I have a better grip and better motion with my life right now. And so it creates this space and opportunity for me to come back to you guys as my tribe to be able to do that. And the things that I'm doing differently, like I said, I am not forcing productivity. No, I am not I am not a robot. You know, I am, for the most part, a human being as far as I fucking know. And last time I checked, if I need a break, I need a break. Period. So, and also protecting my energy and still being able to show up, which goes to, I think, This video is getting ready to drop soon. I don't know if I'm gonna drop it this week or next week. Dealing with certain, allowing certain people to be around you. Like, why are you here? you know, if you came here to not add any type of value or pleasure or peace to my life, I'm gonna need you to battle, kick rocks. Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. All that. And um, yeah, like that's how that's been going. So like, I don't, because it's been a while, I don't think I probably got too many people even here right now, or even if you guys feel like you relate to any things that I was just discussing. But do you guys want to share your experience if you've ever dealt with burnout? Protect your energy at all times and stand on your boundaries. That's right, YG, and that's definitely the lesson that I keep being retaught. Look, I listen, but sometimes I swear I must be hard headed because you know, our good Lord and Savior, the creator of all, would sit up here, teach me these lessons. I know these lessons, I'll uphold these lessons, I'll go through some, me thinking, then something that happened where I'm thinking, like, okay, well, maybe I could relax on my boundaries a little bit. Maybe I am being too stiff, and then it's like I get whacked with the ruler just that quick. And it's like, didn't I just get through telling your butt what to do? Now you got to do it all over again. Now I'm like, damn, like, because you just heard it. I know you understood it, and you set your butt up here and did the same thing again. Now I had to get popped with a ruler and had to sit my butt down in timeout, redo my lesson again, and come back again. So, really need to stand on that and be confident within that. So, but yeah, but definitely, like, if y'all feel like y'all had anything y'all probably want to share about your experience probably dealing with burnout or your boundaries being violated and things like that, you are the best friends out the. Okay, all right. Hey, Bryce, thank you for popping in. But yeah, so yeah. And like, how do y'all know when it's time for y'all to rest? Like, what happens, or what are your conscious thoughts or realizations when you realize, like, okay, I've been doing too much, it's time to take a step back or to set some new boundaries or whatever may have you. Okay, see him again. Hey. Mm-hmm. Because even though I'm still going through it, there's still some nooks and crannies that I'm still just, weighing out, being a Libra. So I know some things they have to fall on this side, others on that side, but nonetheless, still boundaries, baby. Gotta stay strong with those. But yeah, but like I said, I know too many of my tribe probably not here. They probably was like, oh shit, I didn't even realize she was going live today. So even if y'all not here, maybe if you watch the playback, feel free to have the conversation. The conversation, y'all know I talk to my people, so we ain't got to worry about that. And I actually look forward to those conversations. But yeah, I just wanted to talk more about my experience. And I appreciate those who did show up this live. Thank you guys for showing up. And I appreciate those who came in even thereafter to watch the playback. Thank you for showing up. But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I feel more comfortable now. Yeah, yeah, I feel more comfortable. So, pray tell, pray tell that I am in a space of peace and that I get my requested days off this upcoming week so I can relax and we can come back and go live next week. And I hope I get to see y'all there. So, let's see. I've been on my journey for a while. I don't know how much experience you have, but you get better at it as you, I think you meant as you go. Yeah, yep. Hey, Nightwolf. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. Hey. Wow, it feels so good to see you guys. It really does. Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's definitely taking me being more consistent with some practices so that way I can become stronger within that practice. I don't know. It's just something about, and I think I probably need to get that into my mind too, like realizing that lessons can really show up in different spaces and places and people. And just because it's a different person and you're hoping that you could build better rapport with them, first of all, people already got their mindset about you. Just continue to be you, be kind, don't be disrespectful, not stuff like that. And then everything else will just be on them. Get some stuff active. I hope you're doing much better. Thank you so much. I gotta come check out your stuff again too. Yeah, I just have not seen you in so long, but I'm really happy to have seen you. But yeah, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I know this isn't a long live. Hope hopefully next week, I get to spend more time with you guys. But I just really want to pop in and talk about that. So I appreciate y'all being here, and I'm gonna catch y'all. I'm gonna try to catch y'all next week. I prefer next week. Okay, keep that in mind. I prefer it. But if I don't pop up in next week, is trust me, it's because it's some other shit going on. Sometimes I think it's better to be in my own bubble due to nonsense. A same from one introvert to another. I feel you. All right, y'all. Catch y'all later.